It is being called a renaissance in the world of beauty, from man buns to manscaping to now bro-tox.
More and more men are using Botox to look younger. Here to explain this new trend is Dr. Scott Dunbar of the Schweiger Dermatology Group in New York City. Dr. Dunbar, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I had a bit of a reluctance in doing this story because I don't want my mom to see this, because every time I go on the air, I'll say, Mom, did you see this incredible story that I did, really deep dive into this reporting? She's like, yes, the one thing I am taking, though, is you should get some Botox. If you could see the Botox.
Really?
If your mom hears your accent.
My mother's accent?
Yeah.
My mother's like,
oh my goodness.
You need some Botox. Have you thought about it? And I'm like, no, I have not. Right?
And well, glad you're behind the times.
I know, clearly I am.
A lot of men are really starting to think about it, especially men in your profession, men on camera.
Points to me.
Not you, listen, you look amazing. But
yes,
a lot of men who are more and more appearance conscious these days are really turning to Botox, which we've been using for decades. It's extremely safe, extremely well studied. So people from, on camera jobs to even people in finance who are wanting to be they don't want to be the old guy in the office. Yeah. They want to be the young, refreshed looking man in the office. Seeing more and more men looking for these types of treatments.
I remember once hearing about, when we went through our economic slowdown, a lot of people were laid off and they had to get back into looking for a job after years and years and years. They started to become very self-conscious about how they looked and started to look into these things. How can I look like the fresh young face again, right?
Absolutely,
but do men use Botox the way women use Botox?
So in my world, I think it's really different how I approach the male face versus the female face. Women want to look, nice, smooth forehead, minimal crow's feet, no 11 lines here. Whereas with men, I have some men who want a similar, appearance that I'll give for a female patient. But a lot of men don't want to look like they've had any work done.
Right.
They want to look like they had a good night's sleep, that they're rested, that they're a few years younger. They don't want to look like they're 16. So I go for a more subtle look for men a lot of the time. So I'll usually leave the forehead alone in men. A lot of men like those those left and right forehead lines. They makes them look wise. Yeah. But I'll treat these the 11 lines here because those age most people. They don't look great on most people. So I can smooth those out in men with a little bit of Botox without them looking overly feminine or look like they've had any work done. So that looks good. And sometimes crow's feet age men, and I can treat that as well. So different approach to men and women.
This is interesting. There's been a 337% increase from 2000 to 2014 in Botox use among men. That's incredible.
Yeah, what is behind that trend? Do we know?
I think men are becoming more and more image conscious. Women have been on this train for ages, and I think.
Let me tell you.
I know.
Welcome to the party, Vlad.
Exactly. We're happy to be here finally, and I think it's important.
Seat at the table.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're getting
from nothing. Now we here.
Exactly. So. Yeah, I just think men are becoming more and more image conscious, and I think these things started at the coasts, and I even, I've practiced in a few different areas of the country, and it's getting into the middle of the country as well, and men love it. It's not, you don't look fake, you don't look overdone, it's very subtle, and the look that I try to give is a subtle reduction in aging, and I think that's what most men and most women want. I mean, some patients want big lips and really smooth, but I go for subtle, turning the clock back.
All right, there's another procedure that's becoming more and more popular among men, especially at your practice. What is that?
Laser resurfacing.
What is that? What does that mean?
So it's extremely useful now. So the worst thing you can do for your skin is to go out in the sun and get sun damage. And this is one major difference I see between men and women. Women are really good about putting on moisturizer with SPF, makeup with SPF. Men don't want to put anything on. They don't want to put anything on their face. They want to just walk out the door and be ready. I'm the same way, and I'm a dermatologist. So I'm seeing men and women at the same age. Women have much less photo damage, much less sun damage, whereas men come in and they've got much more sun exposure, which causes tone, texture, quality, color, every aspect of your skin's health to look worse. So I'm seeing a real uptick in men wanting laser resurfacing, where I use a laser in a very focused way to remove the diseased collagen caused by the sun. And then the laser is not smart, it's not rocket science. It, in a controlled way, it removes that bad collagen, and your body does the rest. So your body lays down fresh, healthy collagen, which lasts for around 17 years. So it's a good stable, permanent improvement in the quality of your skin, doesn't look like you had work done. And we now have the state-of-the-art laser that's very elegant and minimizes downtime to really give a good result.
Wow.
Well, I got to tell you, doctor, you're a great ad for your services because
Yeah.
your skin's
Yeah,
fantastic.
you're great.
You know, I try everything that I do.
Physician, heal thyself. Like, it's great.
Exactly.
No. So these cosmetic procedures that men are doing, you don't get the sense that a lot of guys are thinking to themselves that, you know, that they are going to look plasticky or they're going to look fake. I mean, because sometimes with women, you can tell that
I
the
guess
foreheads don't move.
If you can tell, then it wasn't done properly, I presume,
Well, maybe
right?
that's what it is, too.
That's my opinion. I think men are really worried about that. So that's why they don't come in the door. By the time I get someone in the door, I can really explain to them the treatment plan and give them some ideas, and we can go over their goals.
But do they become proselytizers, or do they? I mean, the idea, I think that a lot of women, I could be wrong, right? But women say, "Oh, you should talk to my guy, you know, if you need something."
Yes.
Whereas I think I'd be like,
That's an
"What?
interesting
Nothing.
question.
I'm just naturally looking good."
Yeah.
Like
Another major difference between the male and female patients that I see. Women, I see one woman, and if she's happy, I see all of her friends. And it's great. If I see one man who's happy, I never see him again, or I see him, you know, every 3 months
comes
or
from the
6 months.
Canada area.
Exactly. He's like, I don't have any friends.
Right.
No one's coming in. Don't expect any other patients. Men are very discreet about it, and I think that's fine. You know, I think that's how men and women react. But I think more and more men are a little more open to talk about.
Well, I like it. Like I said, welcome to the party.
Yes,
you should be
I'm-
just
all
as
right.
stressed out as we are.
Mom, don't worry. Dr. Dunbar is here. Dr. Scott Dunbar, thanks so much.
Thank you guys very much for having me.